wasn't a hitching post because there was no fences. I don't understand what that was to this day. I don't. Maybe somebody will get a revelation of what that was. But it was like, just like where you tie your horse up. Obviously, the horses didn't have any bridles or anything on them. They were just there. Then they were all, and we got right up to this hitching post. You could see them, and they were so beautiful, all over the hills of heaven. As far as my eye could see, millions, literally millions of horses. And they all had their heads down, and they were eating. They were eating in the grass, eating in the fields on the hills of heaven. And as I got closer, and we stood at this thing, as soon as the angel approached and stood there, every one of those horses picked its head up and looked at us. Every one. There's something about that place, that standing place. And it was almost like they were saying, is it time? Are we going? Is it now? And he turned me around and we walked, and I looked back over my shoulder and I could see they went back to grazing. And I walked away. But the things in heaven were just as real and as tangible as tablecloth. It wasn't some ethereal place. Hard things there. The trees there. The colors there. It's an incredible place. And only when I went there could I know the depth of what Paul was saying when he said, I'm in a strait betwixt two. Only then could I realize why he had such a homesickness to be there. It was the most beautiful place. But to be in the same proximity back to the throne room as the Lamb that was right there on the throne. To stand in the same space as Jesus Christ, the one that came to was crucified for me. There's no contest. There's no contest. There's nothing that could make me want to stay here if I had a chance to go. I love my wife, but there's nothing that could make me want to stay here if I had a chance to go. I've come to the understanding of the depths of the Scripture, and it says we groan earnestly for that heavenly body. So many interesting things. And I hear other people talk about heaven, and they say, I stepped on flowers and they didn't break. It was like we just went through them and they just popped right back up. Or I went here and I saw this. I can only tell you what I saw. I don't know why I need that other stuff, because that's not what I was shown. I was shown things that gave me a greater depth for the Word, and I think that's what it was all about. Was to give me a greater homesickness for heaven and to show me a greater depth of Scripture. I believe that fully in my heart and in my mind. But all that time, since then, I've had the greatest homesickness and the greatest feeling to go home. And the older I get, the more of my friends are there. I have more friends now there than I do on this side. I have grandpas and grandpas, my pastor, who I know that when I get there, he's going to look at me. His famous thing was he always used to want to go for coffee. Sunday morning, I'd have him preach. He'd say, let's go for coffee. And I said, we can't. We got to go to church. Oh, let's just go for coffee. I said, well, you got to preach. He said, let's go grab a cup. So when I get to heaven, I know that Jack's going to say, let's go grab a cup. Just talk to people I haven't talked to in a while. That's going to be pretty special. To see people that I never thought would have made it, hug their necks and say, how in the world did you get here? I'm glad you're here, but how did you get here? Sometimes we think we're going to be surprised at the ones that are there. But sometimes we're going to be surprised at the ones who don't make it. And so that was kind of a life-changing experience, a life-altering experience at a very early age for me. Oh, Pastor Mark, I would love to go there. I'd love to see those things. Well, in 1 Corinthians it says, it can be revealed to you by His Spirit. So maybe if it's not your turn to go yet, maybe He'll show you some things there. Because He's no respecter of persons. If He did it for John, and He did it for Paul, and He did it for me, and He does it to all of these people with all of these stories, are all those people real? It's what heaven was to them. It's what heaven was to them. So when I hear something that I haven't seen there, I can't say, oh, that's not true. Oh, that's not true. Better get yourself off the judgment throne. Realize He doesn't show everybody the same things. But the things He showed me were very real and very powerful. I don't believe I was taken out of a dream. I believe that I was totally wide awake when He took me. And I can remember when I came back into this was the little dingy bathroom. I locked myself in a bathroom because I had a place to drink out of the faucet and a place to go to the bathroom. And I slept right there on the floor, on that old bathroom Formica floor. And dingy peach walls. And I covered the mirrors up because I didn't want to even look at myself. I didn't care. I just wanted to be with Him. I didn't find out till later on this also that at Jewish funerals they cover the mirrors because it's a sign of vanity. And again, so many things that He had me do